Hey, it's Jeannie Bradley here. I just have some things I wanted to share with you about what I have learned about how we can get the things that we would like to get or go from where we are to where we want to be. The first thing is to ask. Ask for what we want. Mark Twain said that he could tell anyone how to get anything they wanted. The problem was he couldn't find anybody that could tell him what they wanted. So the first thing we have to do is decide what we want. Years ago, we had an ugly refrigerator like this, and I actually had it painted because it was so yucky and gold and a hand-me-down. And one day, I said, when we saw the drawer was breaking out and everything, and one day I said, I think we need to get a new refrigerator. And my husband said, please stop saying that. We can't afford a new refrigerator. Please stop saying that. So immediately I knew that I couldn't let that stay in my head. So I threw my arms up in the air and I said, no, I need a new refrigerator. Universe, send me a new refrigerator. And I said it with great passion and feeling. And 3 days later, I got a letter in the mail from my mother-in-law, and it had a check with it, and she said, we had noticed several months ago when we came to visit your home that you needed a new refrigerator, so here's a check for $1,500, and please go buy yourself a new refrigerator. And that was at one point that I realized that my thoughts, my actions, my feelings really affected what I got in life. So when I decided to do doTERRA as a business, I chose to be a premier because that was just the first thing I figured I should start for. I did a little program called Premier Push to go premier in 60 days. And what I would do this pose every single day. I'd throw my arms up in the air, and I would say, I'm a premier in doTERRA, I'm a premier in doTERRA, I'm a premier in doTERRA. And immediately my own brain would say back to me, no, you're not. But I had to keep saying it with emotion and putting my arms in the air and saying, yes, I am, yes, I am. And I had to be really clear and keep that vision in my head and ask for what I wanted to have. Well, if you want to know more about these power poses, go see the TED Talk that Amy Cuddy did. Okay, you'll just have to look up Amy Cuddy TED Talks. So keeping the vision clear is really, really important. If we have a fuzzy vision, we'll get fuzzy results. So when we ask, we have to be really, really specific. Like, I'm a premier in doTERRA by August 31st, 2014. That's what my goal was. Okay. Right after that, the next month I hit silver because as soon as I hit premier, then I changed my focus and I said, I'm a silver in doTERRA. I'm a silver in doTERRA. Okay. So I'll tell you what happened afterwards in October and November and December. So the first thing we have to do, though, is ask and really decide and focus on what we want and what we want to do and have and be. And I'll talk more about that at the end. The second thing we need to do is believe. Okay, so we have to believe that we can even have the things that we say that we want. In the movie The Santa Claus, Scott Calvin says that he sees the polar bear directing traffic outside the window, but he doesn't believe it. And the elf says to him, that's not surprising because adults stop believing in their dreams. And she told him something that you know if you're going to reach your goals, and that is seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. And Bob Proctor, who was in the movie The Secret, said that when you see it in your mind, you'll hold it in your hand. So if you see it in your mind, you'll hold it in your hand. So getting really specific about believing what we want, what we have decided that we are asking for. And the number one question that will keep you and me from our goals is how. So once we decide what we want, if we start saying, how will that ever happen? Oh, I don't see any way that could ever happen. And if we ask that, then we can never get it. All the great people in life who have ever achieved great goals, they didn't know exactly how they were going to do anything when they started out. They just knew they were going to do it. So, for instance, I had a friend who was not married, and she wanted to be married. And so she did something every day. When the movie Enchanted came out, she did something every day for months. And what she would do is she had a little iPod, and on her iPod she would watch the movie Enchanted. She just fell in love with that, and she knew that her prince was coming. And if you've seen this movie Enchanted, this princess, she knows that the prince is coming. She just knows with all of her heart. And all the reality around her says he's not coming. Everyone tells her that, the people around her tell her that he can't be coming. But she says, yes, he is, and he's going to be here. So my friend watched this little movie every day, and if she didn't watch the whole thing, for sure she always watched the ballroom scene. And she would imagine herself dancing and being that same princess. And within that year, her prince did show up. And to make a long story short, at their reception, they actually danced the exact dance that is in that movie in Enchanted, in the ballroom scene. And she knew for sure that her prince was coming, and he did. He showed up. Many years ago, before Jim Carrey was a Hollywood star, he was just working some comedy clubs. He had an old beat-up truck, but every night he drove up above the Hollywood sign at Mulholland Drive, and he would speak out to the city. And he would say what he wanted to have happen. And he would speak to his city, and he'd speak to the directors and say, directors are calling me. I'm starring in movies. And he would say all these things that he wanted. And he actually carried around a check in his wallet for many years that it was post-dated 5 years later on Thanksgiving Day. And it said, for acting services rendered. And it was made out to Jim Carrey in the amount of $10 million. And the year, and it was before 5 years, he actually made the movies The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber, and his asking price was over $10 million for movies. And he said something really profound, and now he talks and he speaks all over the place about how to achieve your dreams. And one of the things that he said was, put a rocket of desire into the universe. You'll get it when you believe it. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Put a rocket of desire into the universe. You'll get it when you believe it. He said, instead of saying, when's it going to come? When's it going to come? What we should be saying is, it's here, it's here, it's here. And that is what he said that he did. He just believed it with all of his heart. So the part of belief that we need to remember is that we need to keep it always in front of our eyes and believe it with all of our heart and see it in our mind's eye. And my friend says that you become what you gaze upon. So the things we envision for our life, the affirmations, the vision boards, those kind of things, we'll talk about that at the end. The next thing, so we've talked about asking, so defining what we want, believing that we can really get it, and the third thing is receive. We have to accept it. If we say we want to build a doTERRA business and we set certain goals and we say, I'm going to be a premier by thus and such a date, whatever it is, and then we turn around and say, it's hard getting people to classes. I can't get my people on LRPs. Oh, you're so lucky. This is really easy for you. It just happens so easily for you. I hope X doesn't happen. I hope blank doesn't happen. Those kind of things. If we say what we want and then turn around and talk negatively about the thing that we say we want, then it's like what Jack Canfield says about ordering pizza. When you order a pizza, you call them up and you say what you want, and then you hang up and you just know it's coming. He says it's the same with putting our order out there for what we want to have happen. We don't call the pizza place back up and say, are you really coming? Are you sure? Or we don't call them up and say, never mind, don't make it anyway. I decided I don't want it. In the movie The Secret, the things that's talked about there about receiving is that you need to feel the feelings you would have if you already had the thing that you say you want. So how would you feel if you got that goal that you say you want? Would you feel joyful, abundant, grateful? Okay? We can't feel those kind of feelings if we get irritated with our spouse or yell at our kids or get mad at the people on the freeway, whatever it is. Okay? If we do those kind of things, then we're not feeling joyful, abundant, and grateful for what we have. So this doTERRA has been called a self-improvement course with a paycheck attached. And that's really what it has been for me and for everybody else I know. There's so many things that we have to accomplish and become if we want to be successful at anything. But we want to be successful at all the most important areas of our life. So we need to feel the feelings. If we want to feel loved, we need to feel loved. If we want to feel happy and joyful around our family, we need to feel happy and joyful. You act as if, and you feel the feelings you want that you would have if you already had it. So, for instance, just holding classes in doTERRA, if you want to be able to feel excited and grateful that you're having an abundant class and a lot of people show up, then feel those feelings first. Next, we need to act on the feelings that we receive. In order to receive the things, when you start believing in something long enough, you're going to start getting ideas about inspired ideas of what you need to do to actually receive the thing you say you want. So an idea might spring into your head, do this, and you might think, oh no, I don't want to do that. But really that's, in The Secret it talks about how the universe, I talk about inspiration from God. He's going to give you ideas of what to do if you say you really want something. So remember to act on those ideas and impressions you get. If you say you have a goal to hold 2 classes a week, then you probably should start out by making a list of people and start calling them and booking the classes. Do something, right? Start acting on it. The next thing is, part of the work of receiving it is that you're going to have to do some push-ups. And the successful people say, no one can do your push-ups for you. There's no one that can do your push-ups for you, and your push-ups include the parts of sitting down and taking some time to decide what you really want. So asking, and you have to get really clear and focused. The next part is believing, and how you believe is you're going to be doing affirmations or vision boards or whatever it takes to help you believe, but no one could do that for you. So those push-ups are the parts of asking, believing, and receiving are doing just what I said, sitting and thinking, writing it down. Writing down things is really powerful. Believing is doing your affirmations and visualizing, feeling the feelings as if you already had the thing. Receiving, feel the feelings you would have, act on the inspired thought, okay, all of those things. I need to tell you what happened last September after I became silver. After I became silver, I took down all my vision board and I stopped saying all my doTERRA affirmations. And instead, I decided I was going to go to France. And I knew I wasn't going to be working doTERRA for a while, so I just stopped all those affirmations. And I went to France with my daughter, and I played with my daughter when she came home from her mission. But I didn't keep my goals up. And that happened for 3 months, October, November, December. And when January came, I kind of forgot those goals and just was focused on Diamond Club. And so I just decided I wanted to graduate Diamond Club, and I didn't see beyond that. So I really had no goals for being gold from October through May. And consequently, even though during that time I had all the volume and more. I had 5,000 more in volume than I even needed for gold, but I didn't achieve gold because it was never the focus, and I didn't have that goal. So I got to where I wanted, which was France. But I just thought I should tell you that's kind of what happened is I got rid of all of those goals. And then when Diamond Club was over at the end of May, I decided, okay, now I just realized I got rid of all of my gold goals. So I need to do that again. And I started doing some studying and things. And one of the stories I heard from Jack Canfield was about the astronauts. In the early days of the programs with the astronauts, one of the things that happened was the scientists were not sure what would happen when these astronauts went up in space. They thought they might get disoriented because of lack of gravity, all kinds of things like that. So what they did was they made these astronauts, these almost astronauts, wear these goggles that were concave. They had to wear them 24/7, and these concave goggles actually flipped their world upside down. So when they were eating their soup, it was on the ceiling. When they were going downstairs, they were on the ceiling. And they had to negotiate all these things. Well, something that happened that they had no clue was going to happen was that within 30 days, every single one of the astronauts' world flipped right side up. Their brain flipped their world right side up. Now, they did another study with these astronauts and showed that they could put the goggles on them for 15 days, take the goggles off for 1 day, and then put the goggles back on them again. And what would happen is if they missed 1 day, they would have to wear those goggles again for a straight 30 days after that. Which shows that, and let's think about that. So, right now, if I'm thinking, I'm a golden doTERRA, am I really a golden doTERRA? Well, right now in my heart I am. But if your reality doesn't match what your goal is, then it's going to feel like this, and it might feel a little disorienting. It might feel like, oh, that's not true. It's not a true thing. And what you're trying to do is say your affirmations and see your vision board and go over your goals and dreams every single day without stop. And you're not going to stop at 30 days, but for sure you have to get to 30 days so that you can flip your world right side up again. And so that then your dream actually becomes the reality. The dream becomes so big and so real that now you're just going to, your subconscious will help you go for that really strong. Okay, there's a lot behind that. Here's some of the things that you can do to help you flip your world right side up so that the dreams and goals that you have that might seem crazy or whatever, making them a complete reality and making them happen for you. The way that you will do that is by surrounding yourself with people and things that is going to help you, that are going to help you believe in your dream. So one is this book, which I've shared with you, Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. I have to say this is probably the best book I've ever read on success, bar none. And I've read books on success all through the years since I was even young. I've read all kinds of things, and I don't know how I missed this, but it's probably the best book besides the scriptures that I've ever read. And if you want to be a good parent, if you want to succeed in any area of any part of life, just read this book. I would say do an overview and then make sure you go back and do the things that he says to do. If you just start at the beginning, you'll be really grateful because I started at the beginning, which is not like me. I like to skip around, but I was listening to it, and now I've bought the hardback. And what he says to do in there is he starts you off, and there's a ton of principles that he says, But as I worked through each principle and listened to it, I found myself doing things that now, as I'm farther in the book, I think, oh, I've already done some of those things that he is telling me to do, because my brain is just getting ready and it just automatically knows what is going to take me to success. And I've been moving towards it without even really realizing that what I was doing was considered what he said a success principle. The other book that you'll really want to read, and the first one I tell everybody to read, I need to tell you about Terry Savelle Foy. I started listening to her. Actually, I started listening to her when I was in Indiana last month, and her little clips are about 8 to 10 minutes long. Just go find her, Terry Savelle Foy, and find her channel on YouTube, and just get a little inspiration every day. Her stuff is fabulous. She has 7 years of YouTubes, and they're from 7 years once a week, and they're grouped by month. So she'll have four things, 4 little videos that are all on the same theme for that month. And I highly recommend it. Go listen to her. She always jokes about herself, how she sounds like a baby. She sounds like a little 9-year-old girl or whatever, and she does. She has a really high voice. But I've been inspired by her. So the second one, you know what? I didn't realize I was doing all this. Sorry. So Tony Robbins, he was one of the first success guys that I learned from. I really like Tony Robbins. He's got some great YouTubes and really great programs. The first book I tell everybody to read is The Slight Edge. In The Slight Edge, he says you have to change your philosophy, meaning your brain. You have to change, flip your world upside down, flip your world right side up, I guess. And what he says to do is to read 10 pages of a good book every day. And good book, by that he means something that is going to help you progress. Okay, something that is going to, like Jack Canfield's Success Principles. Read something like that will help you do some self-improvement. Okay. The last thing, The Secret is one of the ones that I just love the movie The Secret. I can take all the stuff that's in there and adapt it for me and what it means for me. And in fact, while I was getting ready to become a premier, right, I had 60 days. I had no clue what I was doing. I'd been in the business for just a few weeks when I decided to go premier. I did what people say is one of the success principles, and that is ready, fire, aim. Instead of ready, aim, fire, which I did not aim. I just jumped in. I started firing, and if I had waited this whole year before I jumped into doTERRA, I would have not been far along at all in my progression. I've learned as I've gone along, and that's what everybody does. You just fail forward, right? And what I did was, when I was working to become a premier, every day I would listen to an MP3 of The Secret and The Slight Edge. I'd listen to one or both of those, some of it at least every day while I went for my walk. So surround yourself. You'll lose your belief system, right? And your world will stay upside down unless you surround yourself with these things every single day, every day, every day, every day. I have lots more suggestions if you want some, okay? So last thing that I've been working on is this Success Vision Board. Now this happens to be Jack Canfield's, and I really love it. And I'm going to share part of mine with you right now. And actually, there's a part in this, when you do your Success Vision Board, where you can actually play a slideshow with music. And this music, it means a lot to me. And if you're interested in knowing anything about mine, I would be glad to share with you. So I'm going to share part of mine now and start playing the music the way, and I actually put my phone, so this Success Vision Board is on my phone. I'm not going to share all of mine with you because I just figured it would be too boring. So what I did was, what I do every morning and night, I put it up on a dresser so that I can stand up and do my power poses, and I speak my vision. I speak it out loud, just like Jim Carrey did, just like Terry Savelle Foy says. You have to speak your vision out loud. Say it like you mean it. You have to be in those feelings, feel those feelings as if you already had the thing. Okay? So I'm going to go a little bit fast on this, but I have, when I actually listen to mine, you can change the amount of seconds that your vision boards clips pop up. Okay, so here we go. Oops, here we go. Okay, that's the last little slide that I have. I just want to encourage you to go forward. Ask by deciding what you really, really want. Then believing that it's possible for you, and do the things like read the books and listen to the things that are going to help you, and then receive it. Act upon those things that you get. You're going to get inspired ideas to move forward, and I'm just excited to move forward with my goals, and I'm willing to share with you whenever you need. I'm mentoring people on our team. If you're interested in having some mentoring, I'd love to share with you. So go forth and make this year the best year you've ever had. Hey, see you around.